everyone. Happy Friday. It's Friday and we're live at Wild Birds Unlimited in Joliet. My name's Ellen and I'm one of the owners here. And on Fridays we go live, tell you what's new, what's happening at the store, what's happening in nature. So today we have quite the thing I want to go over. We have some new items that we want to show you, but also we're going to talk about how to help baby birds, how to help molting birds, what's happening with hummingbirds, and what's happening with goldfinches. So we're going to talk about it all right here today. Also happening tonight, I'm going to be doing a giveaway here from the store. If you would like to be entered to win one of these beautiful earrings from Katie's Crafts. We had her at Pop-Up Shop at the end of June, and I have some goodies of hers that I'm going to be giving away to someone lucky. This is her shirt. I love her shirts. I wear them quite frequently. They're so cute, and if you would like to place an order with her, you can go on her Etsy page or contact her through Facebook and order a shirt of your own. So yeah, to that. So I will let you know how to be entered in to win one of these pairs of earrings here in a little bit. All right. But first, I want to go over a couple things, such as our upcoming events. So tomorrow we have Wouldn't Matter Pop-Up Shop coming. So Bud is the artist, and he will be here with his wife, and they will have that pop-up shop going. But Bud does the carving. So if you have ever been to, say, Starved Rock, you might see some of his work right up front by the lodge area. He has some sculptures from huge trees that he's created. But for the pop-up shop, he will have everything from small little items to larger items for sale. But you can also see him in work. So he will be having a demonstration that he will be able to show you exactly how he does some of the wonderful works that he does. So be sure you come by the store for that. It'll be from 10 to 3 p.m. He will be here. So please stop by and see us then. The following weekend, which is the last Saturday of the month, the 26th, we're presenting on goldfinches. So if you would like to learn how to attract these goldfinches and how to keep them coming all year round, because we do have goldfinches all year round in Illinois. So just call the store to reserve your seat. The seating may be limited depending on how many people end up coming. But if you would like to guarantee a seat, give us a call at the store and we will put your name down as a reserved seat. All right? So also happening at the store is our Daily Savings Club Extended Sale. So if you are Daily Savings Club, you receive that 15% off plus the additional 5 for the remainder of July. It's a pretty big deal. And if you are busy on the bird feeding and are enjoying this hobby like I do and many of the people that in my family do, being a Daily Savings Club member is really, really helpful, because not only do you get to save extra on seed sale months, but you also get that 15% off every day. So essentially, it's seed sale every day of the year if you are on Daily Savings Club. Now, yes, you get a free gift for joining, you get a free gift for renewing. There's member-only perks every month. So there is a lot of value in being a Daily Savings Club member. So if you haven't done so already, I would highly recommend you consider joining. On our website, you can find all sorts of information on all the benefits and how to join right online. But of course, if you come into the store, we can sign you up in person too. So just letting you know there's that option too. All right, let's get to it. Before we do our giveaway here, I'm going to go over the new items that have come in. So stay tuned on how to earn these giveaways here in just a moment here, okay? Let's talk about some of the new things that have come in this week. And they are starting to come in, let me tell you. When it rains, it pours, and it pours new items here this week. So first I want to talk about some of the bug catching things that we have gotten in for kids. And it includes these wonderful nets, and I'm telling you, these are really great nets, and not only are they telescope. So if you are looking for if you have a small kid that wants to be really tall and grab those tall flying insects above their heads, and they can't really do that with some of the really small nets, this one is perfect for them. I like how they are, they kind of all come apart. The hook, the net part does come off of the base by unscrewing it. So there's that, but it nicely compacts. I like how it nicely telescopes back in, so it's easy to put away and store when you're not using it. My kids absolutely love bug catching, which is why I also knew that they would be all about these bug finders. They're little bug viewers. So essentially the magnifier is up here, and you put your insect in the container. Yes, they come with a little toy on the bottom under here. This one has a little spider in it. But it's very cool when kids and adults can see bugs up close. Because sometimes when we look at them, even with our plain eye, we don't get to appreciate and see all the intricate details on insects. And I think summertime is a great time because we are abundant in insects, and it's a really cool time to learn and explore and have adventures in our own backyards. And these little bug finders, bug viewers, and critter kits are perfect for kids to do that. Now this critter kit, yes, it has the mesh top, so it has the airflow in it. This little nozzle is where you put the insects in, and inside here you do have the tweezers for little bug grabbers, if you will, and the magnifying glass yourself. So this is all what comes in these little critter kits, which is great for kids of all ages who really enjoy bugs and nature and want to have that hands-on way of learning about the insects in their own backyard. So definitely come by for these. They are here where they last. They also would be great gifts for, holiday, for birthdays. Every kid, I swear, needs to grow up learning about insects and insects around them. They will totally appreciate you, and they probably will love learning and seeing how much close-up views of the bugs that they are catching. It's really, really cool. But other things that are for insects, or rather to keep insects away from areas, are our new glass wasp traps. So these come in a couple different colors. I grabbed the blue and orange or red color, but we also have them in white, green, and blue here. And I also have this white and light, almost turquoise colored one. I love this color too. But how do they work? What does it do? How does it work? So this is a wasp or yellow jacket trap. And essentially what you're doing is you're going to hang this up and inside here you're going to pour whether it's the nectar, the same nectar that you're using for your hummingbirds, or a sweet liquid like juice, something like that. And you're going to pour it carefully in here. Now be mindful because there is a hole on the bottom here. Okay, and that's there for a purpose. So when you pour in your liquid, you're going to pour it so that it's hanging out just on the very outside of this bottle, this jar. Once you put the cork back in there, it seals it up. You're going to hang this out in your yard, and the yellow jackets or wasps will fly in through the bottom. Now they will not understand how to get out of this jar. So in a sense, it's going to rid your yard of unwanted, pesky, flying insects that can be kind of a nuisance, especially if you have nectar feeders or if you are still feeding jelly for orioles and other birds that are enjoying the sweet jelly. My recommendation, and this recommendation, is to put it 30 feet away from your home or away from that feeder that you are attracting these yellow jackets and wasps at. So you hang it away, the wasp will go this way and not bother your home, the people in it, and the feeders that are supplying sweet treats for the birds in your backyard. All right, so these have been pretty popular at other stores, and I'm excited to try it at our store. So give it a try, see how it works. Other new things that we have gotten in is something really popular is for our squirrel feeding area is the new jailhouse squirrel feeder. So yes, it looks like a jail. It's meant to look like that so that when the squirrel comes up here, he's going to look like he is in jail. Naughty, naughty guy, right? But what's on the other side? Well, so in here you can see there is a screw to put on a corn cob or one of those squirrel logs, which is compressed corn, and it's something like 24 ears of corn in one log. They're very good. They have a long longevity of life for a food item, and I like that the compressed nature of that log helps the squirrel also gnaw down his teeth because they are in that rodent family where they require that. Now it does come with this mounting bracket here so that you can mount it somewhere where you would like that would work best for you. But it's super cute. Another thought I had was because it has this kind of box shape, you could put peanuts and other sweet treats for your squirrels in this area here so that he will still come to the feeder, the jailhouse window, and you can still see him from there too. But really cute idea. I loved how they created this, and I thought it would be right up at many of you at your alleys with how much you love your squirrels. I know some of you are either very, very hardcore anti-squirrel, or you absolutely love your squirrels. And it's okay if you're somewhere in between. That's all right too. But if you are one of those squirrel lovers, and I know there are many of you out there, this one's for you guys, all right? And the other thing that came in this week was our bookmarks. Now, I don't know about you, but my summer read this year has been the Amy Tan Backyard Bird Chronicles. It's such a emotional journey I always talk about, because in the first few pages from the preface to the first couple entries of our journal, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Did I want to cry? Do I want to laugh? Because my emotions are all over the place, and I felt very much connected to her. Very good book. I highly recommend it if you haven't already read it. Give it a read. It's a great read for summer. But we did get in these new bookmarks, which I think pair perfectly with this book. And I just wanted to share a couple of them with you because they are so beautiful. They are made out of quilled paper. So I just love the intricate detail on them, and they're just so beautiful. I know many of you are big readers, and I thought these would be right up your alley. Super cute. We have one pretty much in every style of birds, and there are more coming. So if you don't see the bird that you love the most on here, don't worry. We probably are getting it as they restock their supplies. But yes, lots of new items have come in. You gotta come in the store to see all the good stuff that is starting to come in. And before we get on to how to help all the birds that are and everything that's happening outside and get into all of that, what's happening with nature, I figured we would do our giveaway. So to do our giveaway and to be entered into our giveaway, all you have to do is like this Facebook Live, share this Facebook Live on your own page, and then in the comments, I would like you to tag someone that you think would love birds and would love watching our Friday Lives with us. So just like this live, share the live, and tag someone in the comments. When you tag someone, I will know that that is a sign that you have liked and shared it, and you want to be entered in to win the giveaway. We will be drawing 3 winners for our 3 pairs of earrings. We do have the Northern Cardinal, we have a hummingbird, and then we also have a goldfinch. Now this is not your typical goldfinch. It is actually the Eurasian goldfinch, but nonetheless it's a beautiful bird, and I thought either way everyone would enjoy some lucky 3 people will enjoy a free pair of earrings. Um, so if you would like to be entered into that, just be sure you like, share, and comment with a tag of someone that you think would enjoy birds or would like to listen to our Friday lives. All right. Of course, the person that you tag could also try to be entered in to win the giveaway if they watch the live and like and share and tag someone else in there. Everyone is included and can be entered in to win. There is no cost and fee associated with this. If you win and you aren't going to be able to make it into the store to claim your prize, if you put an online order in with our store, we can include it in with the delivery and ship it out your way. Okay? So there's no fee, and we don't never ask for any personal information. You just come in the store and you pick up your prize. And of course, if you would like it delivered to you, we could, if you place an order online, we can include it in that order. All right? All right, let's get to it. Let's talk real quick about hummingbirds, because a lot of people have been asking either where are my hummingbirds or what's happening with the hummingbirds. Some people are telling me that they have many hummingbirds at their feeders. So what's the deal and what's happening with them? Okay, so right now in July, we get a little boom of action with hummingbirds because the first round of babies have fledged and left the nest. So what does that mean? It means that we have more mouths to feed, which means feeder action at our hummingbird feeders should be picking up right now. Okay, so if you are one of those lucky few that are seeing a lot of increase at your feeders right now, you are likely seeing adults with a mix of some first time babies coming to the feeder probably for the first time. Really, really excited time of the year. Now, if you are one of those people that aren't getting a lot of hummingbirds, you might be, unfortunately, part of that group that is in a trouble spot. Okay, and let's talk about this trouble spot, because I find that the number one reason why people start to lose or fail to keep hummingbirds coming throughout the season is for 2 reasons. Okay, the number one reason is failure to maintain your feeder and to keep it clean. Okay, your feeder and the parts that make it happen, right, the ports, are very, very important. Those hummingbirds require the use of their tongue to essentially suck up the nectar. Okay, and if your feeder is dirty, it will either not be used or it's going to get a hummingbird very, very ill. All right, unfortunately, moist, wet feeders with sugary substance in hot, humid weather can be a breeding ground for bacteria and mold. So it's really important we take special precaution, especially around these ports, the holes where the hummingbird is going to actually stick its bill in and drink up that nectar. Make sure you are looking for any black mold or any other bacteria that may be causing mold to grow on your feeder. We recommend cleaning it very frequently, okay? More than you would on a seed feeder or any other feeder. In fact, I change my nectar and clean the feeder at the same time. So anytime you are replacing nectar, you should also be cleaning your feeder. Which brings me to the second point, is the other reason why you may be losing hummingbirds or may be not keeping them coming back is because the nectar inside the hummingbird feeder has gone spoiled. Okay, it's gone rancid. It maybe has mold in it. Maybe there are floating things in it. All right, in 80-degree weather or hotter, we recommend that your nectar is changed every day. Yes, you heard me. Every day, your nectar should be changed. Okay, and that is if you are not using Nectar Defender or Nectar Defender, right? This is the powder version of it, and you add water to this to make your nectar. This stuff, you are adding this Nectar Defender to nectar that's already pre-made. Maybe it's something that you bought at the store, or if it's stuff that you are making at home, you could add Nectar Defender to it. Now, Nectar Defender naturally extends the life of the nectar up to 2 weeks. Now, I might not go 2 weeks before I'm refilling that feeder. Likely, I need to refill it because nectar has been drank from all the hummingbirds. But in a sense, it will give you a little bit of a breathing room on having to change it every day. Okay, so with Nectar Defender, maybe I change it, on the third or fourth day versus having to change it every single day. So it can be a little bit of a lifesaver with Nectar Defender. And of course, it's natural. It's using a micronutrient copper to naturally extend the life of that nectar. So it's all natural. It's completely safe for the birds. It's nothing to be alarmed about, but it's something just to consider that if you are one of those people that are potentially not getting as many hummingbirds to your yard right now, it could be because you need to have a little bit better control on the nectar, or you need to take a second look at that feeder and make sure it's really, really clean. That's why I really like the top loading hummingbird feeders, because they're super easy to clean. You can see all the nooks and crannies, and there is nothing to hide. All right, sometimes those gravity fed ones, the bottoms are a little bit harder to clean, and you can't always get inside and open all the pieces up. So just be mindful that the type of feeder you're using can maybe make or break how your hummingbird activity is going. It is worth noting that if your yard is perhaps female dominated, you may have had a slump in June, meaning you had a lull in activity because the females are solely incubating and taking care of nestlings, eggs, and all of that. Now, male and female hummingbirds do not hang out in the same territory. So they only come on neutral ground to mate, and then they're off on their own separate areas. Now, if you've ever seen a hummingbird that comes into another hummingbird's territory or near a food source that they have already been claimed, you might see some chasing action or some fighting in the air happening. And that is completely normal because our ruby-throat hummingbirds are very territorial. But with that being said, keep in mind that if your yard, or per se your front yard, is female dominated, that feeder and that area, that territory, might be a little less active in June. But by July, we have the first round of babies out. So you should be seeing an uptick in action. So keep an eye on your hummingbird feeder, keep an eye on the nectar, make sure it's fresh and make sure it's clean. I promise you it will keep those hummingbirds coming back. All right? Let's talk again. Let's talk a little bit about goldfinches because they're another bird that's doing something pretty cool this time of year. When all other birds have pretty much finished nesting season, and that includes our hummingbirds, they are wrapping up nesting season this month. By August, we will see another round of baby hummingbirds come out. But who is just starting? Well, it's our American goldfinch, the bright yellow bird that we so love. They are just starting to nest. And they actually coincide their nesting season, so it times perfectly with when all of our flowers go to seed. And why is that? Why do they nest so late? And why are they timing things with the flowers? Well, it's not because they want this beautiful landscape for their babies to look out on. Well, that might be the case, but it's probably not because, truthfully, goldfinches are almost exclusive vegetarians, meaning their diet of almost 100% seed is being relied on the natural bounty that the natural flowers can provide. So all the coneflowers and sunflowers that are going to seed right now are going to be food for the many babies that the goldfinches are going to have coming up. And they are just starting, so the fun is just about to begin, all right? So they will start nesting this month. And a thing to think about is that while they're nesting, your female action at the feeders might start to disappear a little bit. And that is because the females are busy with nesting season duties, meaning incubating eggs, right? So they're sitting on eggs while the dads and husbands are dining at the feeder. And that's okay, and that's normal. That's the natural flow of goldfinch life. Okay, so just don't be surprised about that. All right, things to think about on what to provide and how you can help these birds right now is nesting material. So whether they have already started building the nest or are just getting started, nesting season happens and they need nesting material. Yes, they built their nest naturally out of sticks and grasses on usually a Y branch, and they will twine it all around, but on the inside is the nice soft fluff. Oftentimes it's thistle down, right, from those natural weedy looking plants. That down material will be collected and used as the inner lining of the nest. But you could provide nesting material in the form of either a nesting ball, or the Hummer Helper nesting material works great for goldfinches and hummingbirds. And yes, you can still provide this all summer long, because yes, the hummingbirds will still have a second brood after the first one. So they still have time. You still have time to put this out and have it be used, all right? But what are those babies eating? Well, they're going to be eating all the seed that's provided, but shortly after, when they fledge, they are going to be taken to the feeders by mom and dad. And what are you going to be putting in your feeders to attract them? How can you get them coming to your yard? Well, I'm going to tell you there are 3 options that you can have that are top favorites of goldfinches in our area. And I'm going to tell you, I might say so myself, that Wild Birds Unlimited has the freshest, best seed in town, especially for your goldfinches who are super, super picky. Now let's talk about those 3 options that you can provide for your goldfinches this time of year. Okay, number 1, the top choice in our area is Niger. Yes, I grabbed a 5-pound in all these bags because it is my recommendation that you go with a smaller quantity of seed until those birds are eating you out of that bag super, super quick. No, it's not because I want you to come back and see me more often, although I would love for you to come see me more often. But no, it's because the smaller size bags come with a zipper seal. And Niger and other seeds actually have oil in them. And the oil is, in fact, what the goldfinches are coming for. So a Niger seed is that small, very fine little black seed. It does have a shell on it. Okay, this seed is grown out of the country, usually in Ethiopia, but it is imported in. Niger seed does not grow in the U.S. All right, it is not technically thistle. It is incorrectly called thistle, but it's not quite thistle like you and I think of the thistle plants that are out in nature. All right, it's a little bit different. Niger is one of the top favorite foods of our goldfinches. But the key with Niger is keeping it dry and keeping it fresh, because our picky goldfinches, if it's not dry and it's not fresh, they will know and they will leave you. They will cheat on you and go next door to your neighbors. And no one wants to lose their goldfinches. So I'll tell you all the tips and tricks on how to make sure the goldfinches stay and keep coming to your yard for the whole year long, okay? Another top favorite is sunflower chips. And I grabbed the fine sunflower chips because this type of fine sunflower chip will fit in our typical finch feeders. So typical finch feeders, I'm going to grab one real quick here. 2 of the most popular kinds of finch feeders right here. One is our mesh finch feeder, and the other is our regular seed tube finch feeder. And if you can tell, on this feeder is a very, very small port. Well, it's because the food that's going to be in finch feeders are very small and very fine, which can fit through there. If you currently use seed blends that have sunflower chips in them, you might get to witness a goldfinch coming by. that feeder to check out those sunflower chips. All right, sunflower chips have a ton more oil content in it than actually Niger does. But the problem with that we find with sunflower chips on their own is that sometimes it can get really gummy inside your feeder if you're not keeping proper weather guard protection. All right. The other thing that can happen when using sunflower chips is you might get some curious critters that might want to also have a taste of that with sunflower chips. So it's important that when you are choosing the type of food that you're using, it's going to work best for your yard and your situation. So not every yard is going to be able to hang feeders from the trees without squirrels going to them. If squirrels are going to the feeders, I might recommend you use a baffle, and then you can put those sunflower chips in it. Another recommendation for feeders in general, when you're feeding goldfinches, is to put your finch feeder away a little bit from the other setup and the other feeders that you are putting out there. The reason is goldfinches are the least dominant bird at the feeders. And that will be across the board for almost every species of bird. The goldfinch will always be the low-ranking person on the totem pole. So how it works is if you place your finch feeder a little bit away from the regular setup that you have, the goldfinches won't feel like they have to wait their turn, and they will feel more comfortable coming to the feeder in droves. You may get a whole flock of goldfinches to your feeder waiting for their turn to eat at a seat at the table when you are providing the space that they prefer and they like. Okay. Another top favorite of finch food is our Wild Birds Unlimited Finch Blend. Now, what is Finch Blend exactly? Well, it's a combination of the other two choices that they love the best. So it's 50% Niger, 50% sunflower chips. So it makes for a great seed blend. Again, it's important that wherever you're putting a finch blend or sunflower chips or even Niger for that matter, you want to make sure that it's in a feeder that is designed to hold that fine little seed. Okay, so a regular seed tube feeder with larger ports won't be appropriate because that seed will fall right out of it. Okay, look for a small finch feeder. Okay. The other thing you want to have with your finch feeder is a weather guard. Okay, the weather guard is going to keep the seed inside dry and keep the birds that are feeding on it dry from the elements as well. But it's more important when it comes to goldfinches that that food is dry and it is not moist in the slightest. For that reason, I like to use, oh, I didn't grab it. It's Feeder Fresh. I have it here. Feeder Fresh. It comes in a couple of varieties of sizes, but essentially this granule, this product, it goes into the feeder, kind of like how it shows here. So whether you put it in the very bottom of your feeder or mix it up in between. I use Feeder Fresh in a couple different feeders for different purposes, but essentially the idea is to soak up moisture where the moisture can get in. Now we all know water and seed don't mix, and especially when we have water and seed in hot, warm temperatures, that is a perfect breeding ground for mold and bacteria. So Feeder Fresh is going to keep it dry, keep it safe and sanitary, and this product itself is completely safe for pets, animals, and birds, humans to consume if they do consume it. I find that they do not consume it in my feeders. It is usually left in the very bottoms of my seed tube feeders. All right, so, and nonetheless, it's a great way to keep feeders dry that have issues getting wet all the time, especially inside. A quick way to check if your feeder is dry inside or not is if you have a seed tube feeder like this, hold that top down and turn it upside down. Okay, if you see clumping inside of your tube, you know that you have wet seed in there. My best recommendation is just open it up and dump it out on the ground. Now there are many other birds and critters that will take advantage of seed that is kind of wet, kind of dry. All right. If it is completely soaked and you can see mold and bacteria, please, please, please dump that out into the garbage. We don't want anyone getting sick or any birds getting sick from eating molded seed and whatnot. But if it's kind of questionable, where it's a little bit clumpy, but a lot of the seed looks dry, it's best to just dump it on the ground, because mourning doves and sparrows, house finches will take advantage of it and clean it up for you. But goldfinches in particular are super, super picky. So that's really why you want to purchase small quantities of finch food. Small quantities. Get the smallest bag you can until you know you are moving through it. If you are moving through a 5-pound bag of seed fairly quickly within that week, you might want to go up to a 10-pound bag. Okay? But we do sell it up to 20 pounds in our finch foods. But again, make sure that it's fresh and that you can go through the seed quickly in a reasonable amount of time so that that food doesn't go stale. Yes, our Niger and our food can go stale after months, especially if it's not in a sealed container. All right. So whether you're dumping this into another container that's airtight, but either way, you want to make sure that that seed stays dry and stays fresh. Okay. Really big, important thing for goldfinches, especially to keep them coming back. Other things you can do, of course, to help your native birds is to plant native plants. Now, of course, some of those could be coneflowers, asters, corpses, could all be considered native plants that you can plant in your own yard that not only bring the beauty of their flowers, but also help provide food for native birds like goldfinches. Okay, many of our birds will take advantage of those free seeds in your garden. Plus, it's perfect for them because we know songbirds get only about 20% of their diet from feeders. That means the rest of it is being obtained in your garden, in your yard. The things that you provide in your own gardens can be food and sustenance, shelter, places to raise young. They're all very, very important. So consider that. All right. Real quick now, because we have so many baby birds out there, and not only to help baby birds, the young juveniles that have just left the nest, maybe on their own for the first time ever in life, how can we help them? But also, how do we help the adult birds and other birds that are starting to molt? Now, most birds, if not almost all of them, will go through a molt, maybe a partial molt even, and molting is essentially replacing feathers. All right, it's the changing of the coats, right? It's replacing the old and in with the new. And we know birds have to be in top flight condition at all times. So feathers are very, very important. Now, feathers and their makeup is all made out of protein. Birds need protein and added protein in their diet to make sure that they can produce those feathers in a quick, timely manner. All right, so what you can do to help molting birds and juvenile birds, because let me tell you, juveniles absolutely need added protein in their diet. This is what you can do to help them. Put out high protein foods. So up here, I have a whole bunch of foods that have high protein. And I will talk about each one here and how it gives the best protein to your birds to help them with the molting process and help baby birds get the best first start that they can get. Yes, we have nesting blend right here. Nesting blend is the first one, and yes, I would say nesting blend is the top choice for nesting families. Yes, it's going to help mom, but yes, it helps baby birds. It has a ton of protein in this blend. Very important for baby birds and molting birds. Other great choices would be cardinal confetti. Cardinal confetti comes in loose seed, but it also comes in seed cylinder form. It is packed with peanuts and sunflower seeds and mealworms, and even bark butter bits. So it has everything that molting birds and young juvenile birds can use in their diet to help them with the molting process or to become big, strong adult birds as juveniles, all right? Peanuts, big thing for having protein, as well as mealworms. Mealworms, dried mealworms are a great source of protein. Super suet is by far the highest protein suet on the market. If you haven't already, check out the video I shared. Brighton, Michigan store did a wonderful video comparing super suet to regular suet from the box store, and it really shows you how much and what is in your suet really does make a big difference for the birds. And super suet is the top of the line, highest protein content on the market for birds. It comes in suet cylinder form, and it comes in cake form, and yes, it comes in hot pepper form for both. But again, a great way to provide protein to your birds is to provide super suet for your backyard birds as well. And another top choice for added protein is bark butter. Now, of course, bark butter has two fantastic ways to offer to birds. My top favorite is the spreadable bark butter form. It does come in hot pepper too, but this spreadable suet, like suet, this spreadable bark butter can be put on almost any flat surface out there. I even put it on tree bark. I put it on my my patio railing, and the downy woodpecker comes and visits me every morning. It's so much fun, but it's a great source of protein. Another way to offer bark butter is in bark butter bits. Again, bark butter bits comes in hot and not as well. But bark butter bits is what I call the M&Ms for the birds. And let me tell you, who can resist M&Ms in the trail mix, right? So I like to add a couple of these to some of my seed blend mixes. But alternatively, you could just put it out in a cup or in a tray feeder on its own. It's a treat on its own, right? But both of these, the spreadable and the bark butter bits, have a ton of protein in it. And as we just heard, birds need protein in their diet this time of year, whether it be a baby bird new on its own or those adult birds that are starting to molt. All of them need protein in their diet. It is something that you can do by providing those plus blend, Tree Nutty Plus, Noma's Plus, Choice Plus. All those blends like that will have a ton of protein in that mix. So if you are already using a Noma's blend, perhaps consider moving to a Noma's Plus blend that's going to have added bark butter bits. Perhaps you're going to switch to Cardinal Confetti to add the bark butter bits and the mealworms and the tree nuts in it. The choice is yours. And the best part about bird feeding is that there are so many ways that you can provide protein. It's what's fun for you and what works best in your yard. So come by Wild Birds Unlimited, and we will help you figure out the best way to provide protein in your backyard. Now, as promised, we are going to be doing that giveaway. So if you would like to put in the comments tag someone that you think would also perhaps like bird earrings like these, we are going to be picking 3 winners on Monday, so you have all weekend to do the task. But essentially, all you got to do is share this post, this live, and like the live, and comment in the comments someone that you think would either like a pair of bird earrings or would like to listen to Friday Lives with us. All right, we'll see you, and I'll promise I will put the wheel of winners together, and we will spin on Monday together. All right? All right, you guys have a fantastic weekend. I hope I see you tomorrow. I am working tomorrow, so if you have any questions and want to come in and talk with me, I'll be here. But we do hope we see you, and we do hope that you take advantage of the extended sale as a Daily Savings Club member. All right, guys, until next Friday, we'll see you soon. Bye now.